Coming up on this episode of the Village Idiom.
Did I tell you about the time we went into that cave looking for gold?
What? Is this real?
And I hit myself with the pickaxe. I didn't tell you about that?
No.
It's a minor injury.
Okay, there it is.
Dum dum da da, Village Idiom.
Hello and welcome to the Village Idiom.
We are a podcast that every week chooses a popular saying to take a shallow but hopefully comedic and once while even interesting dive into its usage, its origins, its background. But we're also going to use it to hang our otherwise directionless conversation on. My name is Skinny.
We're hanging. I'm Skinny. You're Jurassic Mar. In the podcast.
This is this ASMR chant that you're getting into our little opening jingle every week is fascinating.
I love doing things just for my own amusement.
Well, that's good. That's who's amused.
Because clearly no one else finds it amusing, but I'm quite content just, some people think it's like, oh, that's just not funny. And I'm like, as long as I'm laughing,
It's funny to
that's really all I care about.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, doing stuff.
Who cares what people complain about?
Yeah.
You know, just adds to it.
It's going to be okay. They're going to hurt my feelings.
I'm glad to be back, and this is what we're going to talk about today.
Just to add insult to injury.
Right? We're
Add
gonna add
insult?
insult to injury.
I was thinking about that, and probably the easiest, most fastest way to add insult to injury is like when someone wipes out and breaks a bone and needs a cast, and
Just shout out, "You're ugly."
then you write "you're ugly" on their cast.
Oh, on the cast.
On the cast.
I wish
so
I
it's
didn't-
adding insult to injury.
I wish I didn't jump on your joke. That's awesome.
That's so good.
That's
Yeah,
great.
you're ugly. Just written on their cast. There it is.
You're adding insult to injury.
Adding insult to injury.
That's kind of amazing.
Yeah, and then saying that to their face. I wanted to add insult to injury.
Totally. That's kind of fantastic.
You're
actually.
ugly.
Can you add injury to insult? I guess so. You're ugly. I'm adding-
Or they're already ugly, and then you
punch 'em.
and then you punch them. Sorry, I added injury to your. Are you being assaulted, or is that just an insult
Adding assault.
to an injury?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's just adding assault to injury. I can't even say it.
That's
Adding insult to injury.
That's adding assault to an
Funny
injury.
that I've never noticed that it's missing words. It's not a proper sentence because it should be adding an insult to an injury, but it's adding insult to injury, adding assault.
You don't
to
have
injury.
to add them in, do you? Is that an English
Well, if
thing?
you're writing a sentence, but
You added insult to injury.
if you're going to add an insult to an injury,
Well, you're making it sound like a formula, like we're creating something. You take one dash injury, throw in a smattering of insult.
sorry, I just ramped up our overall volume there. There we go.
That's okay.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
So I was going through stories. This one cracked me up on adding insult to injury. It was a new act, the Ransomware Disclosure Act in the States.
Ransom.
Ransomware Disclosure Act.
Okay.
Okay. So this is the gist of what it is. Would require businesses to disclose any ransom payments within 48 hours of the payment to the Department of Homeland Security, the DHS. So if
It requires the payer.
yes, so if it's like I've locked down your computer system network for your whatever, and I've got all your information locked up, give me 100 bitcoins.
Oh, ransomware.
Ransomware,
W-A-R-E.
not like a clothing. What is that? I'm wearing. This is
Okay,
ransomware.
I got it. Malware.
Yes. Yeah, or the
ransomware.
Ransomware. Yeah, that's the thing for all of those. And it was like a real big prevalent deal in 2020 where there were businesses of all sorts were getting. I know a friend who does IT for a company.
Didn't our business get a version of this? And we just
well,
said, we're good, and let them keep it all.
I don't know about that. We had a problem with our email, but that was about it.
But it was a ransom situation.
Was it?
Yeah.
What's in our email?
And we just went,
We're good. You can have it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it was just email because, yeah, it's not important. I'm pretty sure it was just email.
Anyway.
Yeah, and so it's like, it's going to cost you, $1 million or $500,000 to have this released, but these people are dealing with big money. But the insult to injury is that this bill, the Ransomware Disclosure Act by the Department of Homeland Security, the DHS would require you to say, as well as pay, if you chose to pay the money, that you have to disclose how much the payment was, what kind of currency, and any information you have. So it's not just bad enough that you had to pay out the money, but then you have to tell everyone that you were hacked and that you paid for it.
Wow.
So that's the insult. It's like as if it's not bad enough, and so you would pay to keep it secret. Well, because that could be a big deal depending on the size of your company. Because
Totally.
it's like, oh yeah, we're vulnerable and your stuff isn't safe with us.
Right.
Is what it's saying, and then now
Right.
you have to disclose. Like,
Right.
It's Royal Bank. Oh, I shop at
But
the Royal Bank.
They usually catch those guys because if you are the recipient of said ransom money, you also have to claim that in your income tax. So they usually
They
nab
get you
them
one way or another.
and
That's
tax
the beauty
season.
of the Bitcoin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it just
Oh,
hides
I
on
have
the
a story about that.
it hides in the blockchain.
I'll do a really quick version of the scam call that I got.
Oh, I love it. Okay, go.
Because I kept them on for a while, and they told me this was Canadian Border Control.
Is it insult to injury in here?
And they said, we've confiscated these packages that are being shipped to you. Is this your name? Yep. So I gave them a fake last name. One of my best.
So one thing, probably I don't know if people know this about you. You just play with these people all day long.
yeah.
Like it's like a part-time job.
I love it.
Like you take these calls and then just string them on as long as possible.
Whether it's telemarketing or these actual scammers, which is, I don't get as much telemarketing, but I get scam calls all the time. So anyway, they go, yeah, we got this package. It's addressed to you. Confirm your name, your identity. So I give them my first name, so Mark Smith or whatever I said. They're like, yep, okay, so that is you. We're going to also need to confirm this with your driver's license. Oh, I don't have my wallet. Is there another way to confirm? I'm really concerned about this. And they're like, yeah, when's your birthday? So I give one of my friend's birthdays. It just popped into my head.
Just pick a date.
Yeah, and then and he
Okay.
goes, okay, and can you tell me how many bank accounts you have? I said, I have 3. Can you tell me the balances in those accounts to confirm your identity? So I went way higher than any of the balances I have.
It's not off the top of my head. I got 50 grand in one.
So they're like, okay, this all checks out. This is you. I'm like, okay. So what do I need to do? So this package came in, and they list off all these drugs that were in it. And do you consume these drugs? No. I'm going to read the list again. And he reads it all again. And the last one, it was funny. Like, it was everything. Methamphetamines, heroin, cocaine, marijuana. And the last one was meat. And he goes, do you consume any of these drugs? I'm like, did you say meat? Yeah. Like the last thing in the package was meat. Yes. Do you consume it? Yeah, I got to confess. I eat meat.
I eat meat.
And so anyway, I kept him along all the way along. He's like, okay, then they say, can you give me the number of your local police?
911.
And I said, you don't have that? You're the Canadian Border. Oh, we can look that up. But so what they do is they want you to give them the number, because when that number phones you, you're like, yeah, I gave them that number.
That's hilarious.
They had these little tricks all along the way that seemed like you were feeding them information, but it was info that you. It seemed like they were giving you information, but it was info that
Why do
you
I
gave
feel
them.
like there's a bird in
It's
our...
my phone, but I don't know where it is. We'll get our
it out?
producer. Can you find my phone?
Okay, I'm like, I think
Okay, go get it.
the studio has...
That's a bird chirping.
gremlins.
So, fast forward. I don't want to take too much of this episode, but they're gonna. Okay, do you know how QR code works? Yeah. Okay, we're gonna send you a QR code. This is the only way to save your money, because tomorrow morning we're gonna freeze all of your accounts, but all the money in there should still be available to you if we just transfer it over to this safe digital wallet. I'm like, okay. He goes, yeah, we're gonna give you the locations of some Bureau income tax machines. Bureau income tax? Yeah. It'll probably just say BIT for short. And I'm like, this is hilarious.
That's so funny.
They're leading me. I'm
to,
like,
like,
what
Bitly.
does it have to do with income tax? Well, it's just those are the anti-fraud machines that we can use for this. I'm like, okay. And so then I just,
What's going to happen to my meat?
when do I get my meat back?
That's the real deal here.
And I said, and they
Stuff
had
has
like
gone up in
21
value.
different passports and identifications in my name. I'm like, does it have my picture in all of them? And he's like, yes, it does. I'm like, how do you know what I look like? Well, we don't know if it's your picture, but it's all the same picture. So I'm like, where are you actually calling from? We're calling from Ottawa. I'm like, can you tell me why you pronounced the province Quebec as Quebec? And why you didn't know the local police number. And then when you asked for the local police, you asked for the local state police, which is an American phrase. And is my Canadian money being transferred into Bitcoin, or why are you taking me to a bit machine? We're going to transfer you over. And then they just hung up on me.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, adding
so
insult to
funny.
injury would be...
It would be so impossible to pull one over on you because you literally take calls just for entertainment.
Yeah, I enjoy
You're like,
it. Yeah.
I've got a car ride for 20 minutes. I'll talk to you for 20 minutes.
So adding insult to injury means to make a bad situation worse by adding on to the bad situation with more problems, humiliation, scorn, whatever. Exactly like what we're talking about.
Well, in terms of like, currencies and going after currencies, did I tell you about the time we went into that cave looking for gold?
What? Is this real?
And I hit myself with the pickaxe. I didn't tell you about that?
No.
It's a minor injury.
Okay, there it is.
I knew the jig was up. I saw the change in your face. Like it's over now.
That's your joke, not mine.
Fine. Yeah.
But it's a nugget. Okay, I got a little game for you before we get into the dirty nerdy. I'm going to give you 3 potential winners on the origins of adding insult to injury.
Okay.
And one of them is correct, 2 are incorrect.
Okay.
I'm going to read them out one at a time.
Illegitimate children, do yourself a favor. Play along with us right now. Let's see if you can pull it out.
Here's the first option.
A, B, or C?
Number 1. Number A. Insult to injury comes from the very early days of boxing.
Number A. So good.
Insult to injury comes from the very early days of boxing. While athletic competition has existed for centuries, modern games have prided themselves in also promoting good sportsmanship. It was boxing that first introduced what we now refer to as trash talking. This braggadocious attitude was frowned upon, and in an already violent sport was said to be adding insult to injury.
Okay, I've heard it.
Okay. Number 2. Letter B.
If you do have an injury, the fastest way to heal yourself from an injury
What?
is to be a professional soccer player. That's the fastest way to get healed from an injury.
Number
Whatever
2.
they're doing, they can get up quick.
B.
Yeah.
A fable from the 1st century tells the story of a bald man, assumably a very attractive bald man,
Well, is there any other kind?
who has a dirty little fly land on his head. He was so bothered that he slapped at the fly, but misses and slaps his own head. The fly is offended and cries out that the man has added insult to the injury.
Okay.
Number B. No. Letter C.
Number C. Got it.
In Italian, adding insult is a direct reference to showing disrespect. The phrase aggiungendo la beffo al danno is directly translated to adding insult to injury, even though the original Italian phrase had nothing to do with physical harm.
Oh, man. Illegitimate children, help me out here. I'm going to go with the number C.
Number C.
Or the letter 3. So that I feel like that word that you made up. Oh, dear. It sounds like I just got an idea. I'm going with C.
C.
I'm going with C.
Italian.
I like the Italian.
So I should have.
Let's see if this is actually accurate by heading into some origins here.
Well, here's a problem. I accidentally opened all sorts of things here.
Okay. Well, I can just
so
keep
we're
talking.
Yeah, let's
so
just for a second here.
Of all of those things, I feel that maybe
Let's just rescue you.
Where'd they go? No one can know. I turned around and looked behind. Those words came from another mind.
All right, adding insult to injury is a very old phrase, and it comes from one of the fables told by Aesop, or, depending on what you looked up, Phaedrus, Phaedrus. So it is a fable. Letter B was the correct answer.
Oh, man. I really like that. That when you spoke Italian, I just melted a bit.
So that literally is the translation of adding insult to injury. I just decided.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good.
So I just made
So it was B. Illegitimate children there.
It's a fable. So the fable in question is The Bald Man and the Fly. A fly bites the bald man on the head. In an effort to kill the fly, the bald man slaps himself on the head so hard he hurts himself. The fly mocks the bald man as he escapes. You want to avenge an insect sting with death? What will you do to yourself? You have added insult to injury. The moral of the story is that revenge will hurt the avenger. The term first appeared in English in the mid-18th century. Related terms are adds insult to injury, adding insult to injury, insult, blah, 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 blah. So it's The Bald Man and the Fly.
Oh, he got me on that one.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah, you're pretty good at guessing that.
Yeah, game. I dismissed that one, actually.
I thought the fable is weird for what?
It's good. There's a fire in the theater.
It's not on.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah. That's good. Thanks. Production manager. Always helping us out.
Yeah, the red light's not on.
Red and blinky.
Okay, so
Uno es pinky.
So two things. The man slaps himself and gets hurt.
The injury.
But that comes after isn't the insult.
You're adding the insult to the injury.
What's the insult?
No, you're adding the insult.
What's the insult?
The fly saying, "Hey, you tried to."
No, but he's saying that the man is adding insult to injury. Oh, as in, you slapped yourself, now look what I'm going to do. Mock, mock, mock.
Yeah, the mocking is the insult.
And the second thing that I thought was interesting is that the point of adding insult to injury back in the mid-18th century was all about revenge is going to hurt you.
That's true.
Right, but that's not how we use it now. So that moral is true, but that's not how we say adding insult to injury. It's not about revenge. It's usually
like when double bad things happen.
double whammy.
Yeah. Ooh, added insult to
Just
injury.
bring me the whole thing.
Production manager. It's tricky.
Yeah, those birds chirping.
Yeah.
It's obviously somebody urgently trying to get a hold of us.
Of course. That's okay.
That's the entirety of the
origins?
The origins is it's a fable from ancient times. Well, mid-18th century anyway.
That's crazy. That doesn't seem long enough.
Bring it here, production manager. They always do. Just bring it over here.
Okay. That would be great if it was a call. If it would be a scam call, that would be just so good.
Oh, to catch that?
To get a scam call in the middle of shoot. Oh,
right,
so
just
good.
In case we've got an emergency situation.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at this history.
So as I'm looking through there, I think it has to be the verbal.
Hey, producer, can you go downstairs and open the door? I think we have some visitors trying to come in.
Oh, perfect.
Thank you.
Awesome. So
we
should be getting to the end here.
Awesome episode.
Okay. Well, fortunately, we didn't cover hospitals for people who had mental challenges or experiments on people.
Definitely could have gone to hospitals with injury.
Sure.
Could have gone to mental hospitals with.
Tell me about you got a quick injury story? The time that you got hurt the most over the least.
I've never broken a bone.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. This is the only one that popped in my head when you first said that. I was like grade 7, I believe. Grade 7, and actually the guy who's coming in the door right now, we were in the same grade. We were in class together, and he started getting yelled at by a guy a year or two older.
Okay.
Definitely a bully type person.
Yep.
And my friend Brad, he started yelling back. I'm like, what are you doing? We're going to get beat up here. And he started yelling back. And that kid picked up a rock and threw it at Brad. And Brad ducked. And I took the rock into the eyebrow and went to the hospital with stitches.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Took one for the team.
Yeah.
I was thinking for my story of the most insult to injury was one of the times I hurt myself the most was a devastating back throw out when I went to wash my hands.
What?
There was nothing happening.
That recently? After post turning 50?
No, it was in the 40s. But it was bending over to wash my hands. I was camping. I was camping, and it was
You were cramping.
and leaned over to wash my hands and and put myself on the grungy floor, devastated.
Oh, no.
Full out. And then I'm by myself because I'm in this restroom camping. And so I crawled through like the dirt and paths to get back to the campsite. That was my insult to injury. Was you trying to like that? And that's why I don't wash my hands when I go to the washroom anymore. I'm not risking it. It's not worth
Not worth the risk.
It's not worth
the risk.
Well, anyways, we're heading into the end here. We should pound through a couple of riddles if you're into it and ready.
You know, I kind of lied because when you first said the word hospital, and the last time I was in the hospital was for a colonoscopy, and I'm like, this is not good.
Wow.
This is not a good story for on air.
I find that those stories are challenging on the whole.
But that's the bottom line of this.
Yes.
I was so insult and injury, really, getting a colonoscopy.
Right.
I remember they're like, "This is."
Try to strike up conversation. Like,
It
just
was.
get me
It
out
was
of
not.
here.
Put it this way: the clean version of this is.
I hope it was a clean version.
It wasn't. It wasn't working. They couldn't get in there. And finally, he just gave me some good advice. He goes, "Listen, you're gonna have to just be open-minded about this." And it all worked out.
It's terrible. Well, open-minded or not, we should wrap things up.
All right, here we go. Riddling is a game we like to play. It takes a two-part trivia-based question and requires a two-part but overlapping answer, overlapping by syllable or word or words if we're lucky. So, for example, last week we left you, that was episode 148, you can't make an omelet without breaking some eggs. And we left you with, where can you email us and what can't you make without breaking some eggs? And did you get this one?
No, just tell
It's
me.
the Village Idiom Podcast at gmail.com.
So long. Well, that's how it plays through.
That's how it plays through.
I've got a couple prepared,
I got a couple prepared.
and I'll go first here. Illegitimate children, feel free to play along. Add mocking on top of your pain because soccer boo-boos added more minutes to the game. Add mocking on top of your pain because soccer boo-boos added more minutes to the game.
Adding insult to injury.
From our soccer illegitimate children there. You know what injury.
We've got a studio guest who's a soccer fan. Do you know the answer? More minutes to the game.
Adding more minutes to the soccer game is referred to as injury time.
Really?
Yeah.
So, adding insult to injury time?
Adding insult to injury time.
All right. Well, there you go. I would have never gotten that.
Maybe we should have saved that one for the end.
For everyone else
But now,
to
but
fail
now,
at.
but that moment's passed.
You probably have this one, so I'm hoping I'm
Okay.
beating you to the punch. This idiom that talks about making matters even worse through scoffing is something you're sometimes required to do in court with 11 of your peers.
adding insult to injury duty.
Yeah, that's it.
That cracks me up. That's a good one. I don't have that one.
Okay, good.
Okay, so this one could be even harder than the last one,
Could it be?
but it's possible. It's an acronym.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. This super active mental condition for governmental national safety.
Oh, I don't know the second half. I don't know. ADHD.
And D is for
Oh,
department.
Nope. I was thinking of the department you mentioned in the previous
I did,
episode.
and it's the same one.
Is it?
Let's do oh no, not that one.
Oh.
It's the Department of Homeland Security.
Oh.
So yeah, it's the ADHD HS.
I can't do ADHDHS?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I got one more. And why don't you tell people how they can get a hold of us and they can play along?
You can reach out to us on Instagram at the.village.idiom, or whether it's email at thevillageidiompodcast at gmail.com, or on the Facebooks, the YouTubes, the Twitters at 3 Minutes Gone.
You know, I do this every time we do a double. I don't have one more. So let me think for a second. I'm so disappointed in myself right now.
Mocking on top of pain for for this legally blonde. Though she's legally blonde.
Sure. I don't know the
And
answer.
that is 3 Minutes Gone.
Wow, smooth.
Well, we work out something on the fly. It's always possible. It's fun putting today's episode together. Hope
Was
you
it?
enjoyed it.
Was it?
Well, yeah, I enjoyed myself.
Okay,
I got
well-
some new clothes and feeling good.
You have to, if you're lucky enough to not have watched 148, episode 148, you might want to watch 148, 149 back to back, just to figure out what that means.
I'm Skinny,
I'm Jurassic Mark.
and these are the Village Idioms.
That's 3 minutes gone.